Okay, so we're doing task 9, which is maintaining drainage systems. Here at the cricket club, back in the day we used to also have a football pitch, and the football pitch was located one goal down this end and another goal at that end, but we weren't allowed to play on it until we got the drainage system put into place. So we had a contractor come in and he's put in a grid system for us. So basically the grid system is we have the main drain running from that point there all the way along to this manhole, and then we've got another manhole up by my car, and then we've got the big chamber in the far corner. So this is the main drain, and then we've got drains every 6 meters coming in to this main drain. So as you can see, I've got one of my inspection chambers open, as you can see. So we've got these metal manhole covers on top. So just from a risk assessment point of view, obviously I've got this open at the moment, but the manhole cover obviously is on during when the players are here and throughout the year. So using hand tools, there's no sharp edges on my hand tool, so I don't need for gloves. I've got work boots on. Just it is a cast iron manhole cover, so it is fairly heavy, so just make sure you use safe manual handling when you're lifting the manhole covers up. Okay, so if you just come a little bit closer in, you'll be able to see that maintenance wise we trim round, remove any loose grass away so that we can see the manhole cover and we can get access to it all times throughout the season. At the moment obviously we've got a bit of an ant's nest, but at the moment this well is dry, so this is the highest point of the drain at the moment. So what we've got is we've got pipe work coming from that way in, we've got a pipe work coming in from here which goes out onto the cricket outfield, and then we've got the exit drain. So the idea of these chambers is the water would fill up, and once it gets to a certain level it disappears into that drain and then it goes off down that way. So it all falls from here down to there. We're looking, I think when it was installed, we're looking at a fall of a 1 in 100. So for every 100 meters it will drop a meter. Out on the cricket, so they're 6 meters wide onto the outfield, and it's probably best part of it's about 100. It's to the cricket square. We're looking at about 70 yards. So it drains 70 and then down to well over 100 meters that way. Okay, so basic inspection is we're just making sure that all the pipe work, there's no blockages. The way I'd check for blockages is we've had a lot of heavy rain over the last few weeks, but all this area of the cricket outfield, there's no signs of puddling, so we don't have any issues with the pipe work. Obviously if I was to see puddling on some of these drain runs, I would identify that there may be a blockage, and what I can do is get a set of drain rods, and I can rod going back up each one and seeing how, or measuring where the blockage might be, and then I can dig down. But at the moment everything seems to be working okay. So from an inspection point of view, I'm happy with everything in there. Obviously we've got a bit of a, as you can see, we've got some ants nests, so if I can try and scoop this up, put it in a bucket that I've got, just trying to keep it trimmed so that people know where it is, so that when I'm mowing, obviously we don't try and go too close with the mowers, but we're just just off the playing surface really. But that's pretty much it. So I'm happy with this area. So just careful with fingers when putting it back. Try and line up one side. Okay, and as you can see, it takes my weight and it's quite happy with the way it's been left. Martin, from your point of view as an EPA, what would you be looking for?
I suppose there'll be some questioning. You mentioned the grid system.
Yeah.
Is there any other sort of systems that could be used, or?
I suppose for an area like we've got here, it's rectangular, so the perfect system for that would be the grid system. You could potentially have an open drain, but being cutting outfields with cylinder mowers, I don't really like open drains. I much prefer this system. If you've got a bit more of an irregular shape, you could perhaps use a fan. So maybe if it was that area down there that was maybe wet, you could put a big sump in the corner and fan out. Obviously on golf courses you use the herringbone system, where it is proper irregular shape, so you can do the proper herringbone. But for what we've got, I'm more than happy with the grid system that we've got here.
What sort of soil have you got
Okay,
here?
so obviously you're looking at the top of some of this soil, and it actually looks, you know, if I was to classify this, it binds together. So I'm saying it's on the clay aspect. It holds its shape. When it's very wet, you'd make a proper ball out of it. We've just recently had a building. We've had to dig all the foundations and the footings out, and obviously this is all this spoil over here, and it is pretty much all clay.
Okay.
That's why we've had to have this system put in place, because you just couldn't play football on it during the winter. So we've had this grid system. I think looking back at it now, it'd probably be nice to do some top drains over the top to try and make sure it's working, verti draining, mole ploughing maybe. But just at the moment, we're just happy that it's working throughout the year.
Yeah, because the next one we look at is a bit more of a hazard to the mower, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll go up and have a look at that one.
You might have a bit more debris to remove as
Yeah.
well, but we'll have a look at that. Yeah, I think these are mainly silt traps, aren't they? And
Yeah.
they collect the silt, and obviously they're not full yet. And one day you'll have to empty those as well. There
Yeah.
may be, would there be any hazard in that? The fact that there'll be some debris.
I think with the silt building up, obviously we've got lots of areas around the edge of the ground where we can store stuff, but I think it's just like I say, what I dig out and put in the bucket. Going in the hole, obviously it's about 4 foot deep, so then we might have to get somebody a little bit smaller than me to go in there and dig out. Silt trap will use like a scoop, like the fencers use for digging their holes, scoop it out. But generally,
if we were talking about other people's workplaces, you mentioned open ditches. How would they maintain an open ditch, for instance?
so most of the lads that speak to, they do strimming, blowing it out, just making sure there's no debris, sticks, twigs, just to block it. What you want is the drain to be flowing, and obviously you could see in there that everything was open and free. But if it's an open, some lads have open ditches that pipe work runs into, so you could have this open, but it's a health and safety issue, and it's just collects a lot of leaves, debris. As you can see already around our site, we've got lots of trees and leaves, so it's going to be sticks, and so it's just going to block up a lot more, and so therefore you'd need to maintain it more.